finishing up this letter, and then there's a couple of short ones. So 23 of letter 14, Planius repetem. So he's replacing this, or he's continuing more clearly. So he's saying this now more clearly. Nisi, unless, what do we got? The sententium, this is the opinion or viewpoint. Dicente eo, so something's been said of those who want to relegate, those with the opinion that they want to exile it, and illi, those who want him punished with the capital punishment. And at the beginning of this, they start him, they immediately discedant into the other side. So now when we're asking for the viewpoint of those who want to relegate it, those people who want capital punishment must immediately leave. Then frustra in vain, postea afterwards, this dissentient, they're disagreeing now, from those who just a little before, Paulo Anti, had consented to this. So they're still trying to work out how the three groups fit together. 24, said quid ego. What am I doing? It's similar to one who's teaching. When velim, I wanted to discre, I wanted to learn, and whether these sententias, these sentences you might want to say, port with there's some infinitives there, they ought to be divided, or whether they should go into each single one for a vote. Yeah, because there was killing him, banishing him, or setting him free. Anyway. Obtinui quidem quod postulabam. Nice little short thing. So I obtained indeed what I was postulating, or what he was arguing. Nihilo minus, something like nonetheless, tam and nevertheless, quiro, I'm asking, whether debuerum, whether I ought to have postulated this at all, quem ad modum, so what was it really that I obtained, or how did he manage the situation? Qui, it's not a question, I don't think so. It's he who was sensibating, he who was thinking that should be taken up, sumendum esse, the ultimate punishment, the death penalty, and I don't know whether this is by law or under the law, but certainly victus, something one, looks like equitate of my postulation. So it looks like what's his name, Pliny's position one, and omissa senteni. So he gave up his opinion, and he added his vote to the relegating side, to the side for banishment. Scilesset, obviously, or might be, that veritas ne, looks like a verb of fearing, where the ne and order inverted. So he was fearful that if the sentences were divided, which videbator, which it seemed alioqui, generally or otherwise might might happen, and so those which were thinking to absolve or to set him free by their number, they might prevail. So he's decided for the banishment side, lest that the people who wanted to set him free should win. Etenem. We've got enem and et, so it can be for and also, or it's used to say in fact. Longe, by far, plures. Most of the people were in hac unum in this one, than quam in either of the single other two. So there were more people citing for this. So then, ille, those qui also who trabator by his authority, or were dragged over or following his authority or his decisions, with him having transiunted, with him having crossed over, they, the plural, reliquanted, they gave up that opinion, destituti, and they desertem, deserted by their leader themselves, and secutai, they followed as if a transfugus who is following his ducem, his leader. Basically, like a deserter, they left to follow their leader. 26. Sic ex tribus sententius. So thus, from the three viewpoints which it had, dua factor, there became two. And at Tenwit it held from the two, with the third one being expulsed. So the second one, the altera from these two, with the third one being a cos, which when non posset, it was not able to superare to overcome both of them. Elegit was chosen from ultra, from the two, and it vicaritor, and it prevailed. Vale, goodbye. Letter 15 of Book 8. Pliny to his, and there's the dative, junior. This is Terentius Junior, Salway. Okay, owner of ET, I've burdened you by sending you so many parata at the same time with Mrs. Volumes. I've sent so many volumes. But owner of E, I've burdened you. Primum, probably the main reason why, is queer because ex egere. You forced me to. Ex ego, or however you want to. Then, because, scripturas, you've written that so gracile istic there is your vindimus, your vineyards, or your wine harvest is gracile, is very thin or meagre. So that plane, clearly, I'm writing to you vacaturum, you're going to have a lot of vacant time or spare time. What the vulgo dicator, what the common people say, you have vacant time to legere a librum, to read a book. Okay, so if you want to see what this verb was, it was exigo, drive out, force out, extracted. So he's been forced to write. Okay, eodem, the same thing from my Agellus, from my little farm, has been announced. It was obviously a bad year for grapes. So therefore, mehi also, to me also, lick a bit. It's allowed, or I can, or I should, which takes the infinitive and the dative. So there's the dative and here's the infinitive it takes. So it's possible for me now to write what you can legas, what you'll read. If only, it should be, if only there's a place from where, undi, I'm able to buy mi charter, which are pages or paper. Either, ought, by necessary, so necessarily, quid, whatever, we write, boni mali, good or bad, I'll have to delete it, so we'll have to reuse paper. Vale, and again we start with salve and we end with vale, which means goodbye. And there's one more. So letter 16, Pliny to his paterno, salve. Now this is Plinius Paternus. Okay. So you might think it's his relative anyway. Confecurunt. Usually means to complete, but looks like he's been wore out or something by the infirmities, meorum, of my people, probably his slaves, and the morts even, the deaths even, and quidem, and indeed even of, was it young men, his young slaves like dying. A solicia, type of solace, looks like due, there are two, so necoquam, by no means is there a solace, paria, equal to such pain, but not tamen. Nevertheless, it's a solace, for there's one thing facilitas, he's easygoing in or ready to do, is of gerunding, of manumitting, setting slaves free. For, Adam, video, I seem not altogether to have killed them, or let them die, perdice immaturos, too early, quas those who died perdidi liberos, as free men. So I guess when the slaves are about to die, he sets them free, so they die free men. Anyway, another thing I promise to my services, to my services, my slaves, also is as if they're able to make a testament. I don't think slaves are allowed to marry or give testaments, but he's granting them this. And so that looks like they can have a legitimate custodio. They can have a legitimate will left or something. Mandate and rogant, so they can mandate things, and rogant, they can ask things, what seems good in their eyes, and paria, I obey as it's ordered, or as they leave the commands. They can divide and they can give out what they reliquant, what they leave, dum taxit, only or provided that it is intradomum, inside the house, so I guess not the people outside of the family. Nam service for the slaves, It's like there's a certain republic or a certain state, and as if civitas, as if they're getting citizenship, domus est. So house is as if they've got their own little country and citizenship. Sed quamquam. But although with this solus, I basically acquire this. We'll put that in English. I take this as a type of solace. I'm a bit debilitated or a bit weakened and frangored and broken with this same humanity which I have, which has inducted me, which has led me so that I do this itself, and I permit it basically. Okay, nearly done. Non-idio. So idio means for this reason, so not for this reason, Tama, nevertheless. Valem, do I want to become duria? That's comparative. Do I want to seem harsher or harder? Neither am I ignorant, ignoro, that others, alios, in cases of this type, in disasters, you might want to say of this type, they call it, vocare it, nihil amplis, nothing more than damnum, which is a loss of goods or property or money. And looks like these same people, sibi for themselves, they consider themselves to be great homines, great men, and sapientes, wise. And they seem to want to be called this. Qui, and so whether these people are great and sapientes, qui, there's the subjunctive sent, the Lord calls sapientes as philosophers. Well, anyway, nescio, I don't know whether they're great and philosophers, but they're not homines, they're not men. For homines es, to be affected with dolor, with grief, and to feel it. Nevertheless, sometimes they resist it. They resist the feeling of pain, I guess, when people die. And also, to admit top solace or solacia, to admit. We have a non-solax, non-egere. There's no lacking or poverty. I hate these double negative things, but how do you want to word this? I'll check what the lobes put. He's not above the need of consolation, is what it says there. Okay, and then 5's the end for the day. Virum, but though he is concerning these, or these subjects, plural more, fortassi perhaps, than what I ought to, I can say. But porcia, not comparable, but fewer than what I wanted to say, than what I would want to say. For there is a certain, etiam even voluptas, a pleasure of dolending, of grieving, another gerund. Praesertum, especially if, in the sinew of a friend, that's usually in the lap or bosom, it's also wearing clothes, so it's not a naked sort of thing. If defleas, if you weep while your friend's holding you or something, apud quam lacrimis tuus, when you're with him with your tears, either, there's the vel for either, praise, parate, so praise is prepared, or venia, or forgiveness or whatever. Vale, goodbye. And that's it.